Now today we are looking at the Oblique playing cards. This is a beautiful deck. I have this deck and the Gilded Edition deck, so you can get it in both ways. I'll put the links down in the description, and if you want the non-gilded deck, I have found a place to get it for 15% off. The regular one, I'm pretty sure is sold out just about everywhere that I can find, but the non-gilded one is 15% off, so if you want to check that out, I'll put it down there for you so you guys can save some money. Now, don't just take my word for it. That'd be kind of dumb. Although I do think I'm pretty reliable, considering I've done about 50 deck reviews at this point. So, no more talking from me. If you haven't already, subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified for all of my deck reviews. And let's get into this deck review of the Oblique playing cards right now. Now first, what you're going to notice on this tuck box is that both sides, the back and the top, are all completely blank. So literally, the only thing that has anything on it on the tuck box is the front and the bottom. So the front looks like a bunch of ink, really metallic ink, and it just says Oblique through the middle. And the bottom is just some ad copy. Now, I actually got this from CardCutz, and they ended up sending me the wrong deck because I got the Gilded Edition. Then they ended up sending me this one on accident, and then I didn't even have to pay for it. They sent me the Gilded one, paid for that, and then they sent me this for free. So I'll leave CardCutz in the description below because honestly they just treated me really well. And this is not sponsored by them. I just thought they did a really good job with how they communicated with me, and just they didn't even know I was going to buy anything. They didn't know about my channel. Literally everything was completely just like a normal person, and they just did a really cool job. So I think that's 2 voice cracks in a row, so enough with the voice cracks. The next thing that you'll notice is that both the tongue flaps on the inside and the main one are all blank as well. But you guys don't want to hear any more about the talk. You guys want to know if you should buy the cards. So let's get into that. Now first, let's take a look at this back design. I mean, seriously. With all the pinks and the purples and the blues, there's a little bit of yellow and orange. And then you see the hands with the swords coming out as well, which is probably one of my favorite parts of this deck. Just because you can see a lot of the times that the hand comes here and then you don't see what happens after that on the court cards, and this is taking and showing what happens on the other side. And on the top, would it be top left? Yeah. So top left and bottom right, you're also going to have a way to have a bordered deck. So it has a bit of a broken border, which is going to make fans look absolutely amazing. So enough with the back design. Now let's get into this deck on the faces. Now first we have some duplicate jokers, which is going to be fantastic for magic tricks as Joker, with the same type of ink splotches that are on the back design in the same hand, running straight through it with the sword. And you also have a little bit of a flower down at the bottom underneath Joker. Now for all of the number cards, so here are the Spades, all of them are going to be completely custom. The Spades are done in this little bit of a darker color, still have the same ink, same type of ink feel to it. The numbers are all custom numbers, it's a custom font there, and then is a darker blue instead of having the pinks and everything else with this. For the diamonds, you're going to have a lot of the pinks and blues and less of the dark purples and the dark blues. And again, everything is customized in how they did it, but the layout is all standard. So industry's bicycle standard, you won't have any weird placement on any of the pips. Now the clubs have a little bit more light blue than the Spades. And once again, I do want to point out that the indices also have the same custom, same type of. I also want to point out that the indices match the pips as well, and the numbers for the dark colors are more of a navy blue instead of a black. And for the hearts, have a little bit more of the light blue than the diamonds, and then the numbers in these are pink instead of the normal red. Next, we have the court cards. So we have the Spades, diamonds, clubs, and hearts. Now, something I really do like about all of these court cards is that it has a little bit of a glitch effect. So it still has the same type of ink feel to it, the same recoloration, or however the heck you're going to say that word. They've all been recolored, but I do like how it looks a little bit like a glitch in the system, and that is just something I really do like about this. And that's really all I can say for the court cards. So now let's check out these aces. And they are all bicycle standard, which makes them really easily recognizable. Now, as I say in almost every deck review, if you're going to make aces, make them fun. Don't make the clubs hearts, and diamonds, boring. The ace of spades should be the best, but the other three should be just underneath. They shouldn't be just plain and just like the rest of the numbers. They should be a little bit elevated above everything else. And, once again, Oblique playing cards did it right. So, first we're going to go with the diamonds. So you have an enlarged pip for all of these, which makes it fantastic. Then we have the clubs, and we have the hearts. So, Oblique playing cards absolutely killed the ace game, but we still have one more. First, I'm going to show you those two ad cards before we get into that ace of spades. So, the two ad cards we have, one is just an ad card for CardCutz shop. And the other is a playing card that you might want to actually put on your wall. This is just a beautiful art piece. It actually doesn't really have tons of magical purpose, but for art-wise, I've never seen one that, unlike Virtuoso, which had the 4 cards to go together, that you'd want to put on your wall. This is another type of card that you would want to do that with. And then for your ace of spades, says Oblique down the middle has the king and queen in the center of the ace. Same ink and glitch effects. And at the bottom it says Oblique playing cards produced by CardCutz. And that's really all I can say for all of these cards on how they look. So now let's get into how they feel, how they faro, and who should buy them. Now, how they feel is how I'm going to go first of all. And honestly, this is probably most relatable to the Series B playing cards. And as of yet, this deck of cards right here, and the Series B playing cards, the V2, which I've done deck reviews of that as well. Those are probably my two favorite handling decks that I've ever felt. This is just straight off the top. This deck is legitimately one of my favorite handling decks that there is. I really don't know how to describe it to you. It's the perfect middle of the line stock. I'm just going to do the Kiergomes and give you guys a little bit of an ASMR. It just sounds so good. It feels so good in your hands. There's no way to describe this deck. Anything but just like absolutely perfect when it comes to stock. It is what it is. Now let's hope this deck can faro, because if it can't, then I'm probably going to cry. Because as of yet, this deck is seriously pretty much just a 10 out of 10. From top to bottom, it literally faroed every other perfectly all the way through. And then from bottom to top, did take a little bit more work, but it still faroed literally perfectly. But faroing is easy both ways. Hallelujah, we have a deck that is soft on all sides. Sometimes you go over this and you feel like you're going to get a paper cut, or you're feeling like you're rubbing down on sandpaper. This is smooth on all sides, which means it's a hallelujah moment. I love it when you can just like, so good. It feels so good. There's not much like it. It's really not. But who's going to want to buy this deck? I mean, seriously. I mean, every deck has its own application. So like for a Virtuoso deck, fantastic deck, although they haven't come out with a deck in a year, or 2 or 3, or however long it's been at this point. But Virtuoso is not for magicians, really. Fantastic deck for artists, but if you're a magician or you like to play games, not really great. But if you're a cardist or a collector, they're fantastic. So those are the 4 types of people who can buy a deck, and I'm going to tell you guys why each of those should or should not buy this deck. So let's start off first with magicians. I think magicians could really go either way with this deck. I really do. I think they're recognizable pretty easily, but at the same time, it does have a little bit of a glitch and a little bit of discoloration. So I think that sometimes if you're just going to glance at it real quick, if you try to do a sight force, or if you're trying to do something quick like that and you're just going to show somebody before you do a cull and you have a card popped up and you just bring it back down, sometimes depending on which card it is, it could confuse a spectator if they don't have perfect eyesight, or even if they do and they just get a quick glance at it. So that could make it a little bit difficult, but I think that you could get past that and still completely use this for Magic. So for Magicians, I'd say really you can go either way. I would 100% say cardists should completely bag this deck. Go and pick it up, seriously, if you're a cardist. The broken border on that top corner, on the top left and bottom right, that makes a lot of sense for different fans. And packet cuts are going to look great. The medium border, but it has a little bit of a faded shadow. So that's also going to make packet cuts look fantastic. All the different extremely vibrant colors, and then all the vibrant colors on the faces as well. Cardists, you should pick this deck up. If you're a collector, I would still pick this deck up. It's not really in a type of series. Like you can pick up the Virtuoso, blank, or the Cherry Casinos. You have the reds and the purples and the greens and the blacks, the teals, etc. So you can have like a different series with the cherries, or the monarchs, or whatever, which you really can't do with the oblique playing cards. So I think collectors should get this because the deck is a fantastic looking deck. And if you like to collect decks that look great, then clearly this is a deck for you. But if you're looking for decks that go in series, as far as I'm concerned, I think this is the only deck they're going to print. And I don't really think there's going to be an oblique line. I don't really see that happening. So collectors, I'd say, can go either way. And then for gameplay, again, I think you can go either way for that as well, and here's why. I think that it's a beautiful looking deck. I think that when you're playing poker or you're playing hearts, whatever the game is, I think you'll be able to go through and know what card you're looking at. The only problem I can see is that I think it's like $12, I'm pretty sure. Might be 10, I don't know. It's somewhere in like that $10 to $12 range, and which is a fantastic range. Honestly, I think $12 is where 90% of decks should be. $12 is like that perfect spot. But at the same time, you really don't want to have your friends playing with a deck that looks like this, because most laymen don't really know what to do with the deck of cards, and if you ruin this deck of cards, I'm going to cry. So I think that really gameplay could be a little bit hard if you're playing with people who really don't know what they're doing with a deck of cards. Besides that, it's really all I have for you guys. So if you guys want to pick this deck up, once again, it is 15% off. You don't even have to pay that much now because of your boy. I've got you covered. I'll leave CardCutz down in the description as well, so you guys can check them out, because honestly, they really did do a fantastic job. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. This is Card Perfect, signing off.